gets their attention, gets them somewhat interested in the subject. Secondly, we want to make our point, and usually it ought to be limited to 1 or 2 points. Get their attention, make our point, give them some examples that illustrate or prove the point, and then close with a conclusion which will reiterate the point. Simple. Couldn't be much simpler. But when you don't do that, people tend not to understand your presentation. Why is this important? This is important because most often, as I explained earlier, we will go in to a meeting with a person one-on-one, so we're going to make some small talk. If we want to communicate with a person, and we go in and we sit down and we start right away on the subject matter, the chances of that being effective are almost nil, because we still have to have expression before communication. And so the reason we talk about the weather and, gee, how was your trip, and all that nonsense, which seems foolish, is absolutely essential. It is dog sniffing. And humans, believe me, humans are no different. We have to dog sniff first. So when your boss comes in, listen, when you haven't seen your supervisor, your boss, for a couple of days or all day, and the boss comes in and sits down and says, now, boom, 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 and starts laying it out, you know you're in trouble. But a smart boss knows that he or she is in trouble too, because there's been no common bond, you see. The reason dogs sniff is one dog wants to find out whether the other dog is apt to turn around and go, yep, like that. And that's the reason that we check each other out this way. Okay, now we need a way of letting them know the sniffing is over, it's serious business now, and I want your attention, okay? So we need to learn methods. And all of us do this all the time. I'm not telling you anything you don't do, you just may not have thought of it that way. I was saying, well, you know, guess we better get on with business here, Jack. I want to talk to you about Zingo. So all it does is it organizes, as in a file folder, the time spent in this meeting. They know now that all that getting friendly again's over. Now we're down to the subject, and the subject is whatever you say it is. Then you've got a couple of points you want to lay on them. You make your points. Then to make sure they understand, you illustrate those points with a couple of examples. For instance, or we think it might work this way. And then you close, probably by reiterating the point and. Remember what I said earlier? By telling them what they can do and asking them to do it. One final point. That chart clearly implies that we build toward a conclusion. You're building nicely toward a conclusion, but they interrupt the flow. What do you do now? You got their attention, you made a point, and they say, yeah, but what about? Do you stop and deal with that?
I would say yes, sure. If you don't, that'll be the paramount issue in your mind.
Could very well be. On the other hand, there are other techniques. One of them is to